It's time to kick off your running shoes, grab your drinks, and welcome to the stage your host for this year's Hailsham Harriers speech, Paul Eccles.
This has undoubtedly been an unprecedented year. Although we are unable to meet and give out our usual awards, Hailsham Harriers would like to draw attention to some of the achievements, initiatives and events that have kept us upbeat, smiling and connected over the past 12 months, even when we've been unable to meet together. Who would have thought that Strava, Zoom, Facebook and WhatsApp would become such valuable tools of communication in our running lives? Here are some of the highlights, and we would like to recognise the efforts of not just Harriers, but also runners from other clubs. Because one valuable thing we have learned during COVID is that we are all part of the running community. So back in April 2020, with gyms closed, races cancelled, training nights on hold, and exercise only allowed once a day, we all felt desperate for a challenge to get our legs moving and to get the black and red spirit reignited and reunited. Virtual runs became all the rage in the pandemic era, and during the first 2 weeks of April, 45 Harriers took part in the COVID FKU 26.2 challenge. This was engineered by evil Eddie Diplock from Heathfield Roadrunners. 4 local clubs, Heathfield, Crowborough, Uckfield and the Harriers signed up for the challenge. Each participant ran a marathon distance over 7 days and completed the same distance the following week. Now this was at a time when severe lockdown restrictions were in place and you were only allowed to exercise once a day. Not only did this challenge inspire, help, support and encourage so many of us, but it also brought the 4 clubs together at a time when we needed each other more than ever. It was certainly the forerunner to many virtual events to come over 2020. And so in May 2020, it was the mastermind of Sarah Woolly Gloves, together with the organisation and management of Lisa Phillips, which saw the birth of the Hailsham Harriers virtual relay race. This took place on Saturday, 2nd of May 2020. When Sarah and Lisa posted on Facebook about a virtual Harriers relay, there was a stampede of excitement. 60 runners in total ran the furthest distance they could in 30 minutes. There were 30 time slots starting at 6 a.m. and finishing at 9 p.m. So that means there were 2 teams of 30 runners, each competing against each other. After receiving the news that our club legend Julie Chicken had been unwell, everyone that ran did so in their club vests in Julie's honour. At 6 a.m, Sarah Woolly Gloves started for Team A, whilst down the road in Polegate, Martin Bell started for Team B. Throughout the day, the 2 teams played cat and mouse, and the mileage was incredibly close. The final results were Team A 109.78 miles and Team B 110.94 miles. The day was about club fun, and it certainly delivered that and left us with a united spirit. Also in May, we took part in the 2020 COVID Cup Challenge. This was organised by Uckfield runners, and in particular, Samantha Kenwoods. There were 4 clubs that took part: Crowborough, Heathfield, Uckfield and ourselves, and each club had 55 runners. Whoever ran the furthest in the 2 weeks would win the COVID Cup. It was that simple. Over the 2 weeks, our incredible team of 55 runners logged miles that were for many the longest they had ever run. Gary Fluffy Smith, for example, ran 21 miles each day for 5 consecutive days. Gary and Helen O'Sullivan, or Tinks as better known, finished with a combined total of 444 miles between them. Tracy Erridge ran back-to-back Beachy Head marathons, and Paul Henderson, in an act of rebel defiance, visited the towns of Heathfield, Uckfield and Crowborough to log 33 miles in one individual run. At the end of the 2 weeks, Hailsham Harriers averaged 110 miles each over the 2 weeks and amassed a total of 6,057 miles to win the COVID Cup. The organiser, Samantha Kedwoods, summed up the event as follows. The COVID Cup Challenge ends with new friendships, many personal achievements, money raised for charity, and the mind-blowing fact that the runners from 4 clubs covered, wait for it, 19,374 miles in just 14 days. Our thanks must go to Tinks and Alyssa Ellis for collating the Harriers' daily results each evening. There have been a few individual performances that need mentioning for their individual merit and resilience. Rachel Hillman was meant to be running in the Boston Marathon in 2020, but of course COVID hit us. It was rearranged for September, but alas, never took place. The Boston Athletic Association decided to turn the race into a virtual marathon for the first time in the race's history. So on 13th of September, Rachel completed her own Boston virtual marathon on the Cuckoo Trail between Heathfield and Eastbourne, going under the 3-hour mark in a superb time of 2 hours, 58 minutes and 28 seconds, earning her a Boston Marathon Unicorn Medal as a recognised finisher. Continuing on the marathon theme, Wendy Oates' highlight of 2020 was getting a 3 hours, 22 minutes marathon time, having chased a sub-3:30 time for some while. In her own words, she says, I think lockdown has helped me find Wendy again and put into perspective what is important to me. Between the 8th and 20th of November, we took part in Running Because We Can. This was organised by Gilly Nichols from Heathfield Roadrunners and raised money for 2 charities, Walking with the Wounded and Mountain Rescue. The idea was for teams for up to 6 people to run 400 kilometres. This is about 250 miles, an average commitment of 12 miles per day per team. As with all challenges, it was the Facebook posts throughout the challenge period that showed the determination and energy of the teams. There was also many opportunities for runners from different clubs to team up together and forge new friendships during the challenge. There are so many Harriers that have been inspirational during lockdown, none more so than Paul Henderson, who I think deserves a special mention. I've already mentioned his insanely high mileage in the COVID Cup, but would like to add that when doing this, he raised a magnificent £754, donating 50p for each mile he ran. In January 2021, Paul also offered the bravest of runners the opportunity to take part in what was dubbed as the Accumulator. The challenge consisted of starting with 1 kilometre on the 1st of January and increasing in increments of 1 kilometre each day, so that by the end of the month, participants were running 28, 29, 30 kilometres. Paul has also supported everyone with Facebook posts and has shared some amazing photos of sunrises on his early morning runs. Now, what we'd like to do is I'd like to share with you a variety of your comments of your personal experiences of lockdown during the year. Lisa Phillips. She took the opportunity to thank Annette Mary for keeping us all motivated with her weekly training posts. Many people would like to echo those thoughts and thank Annette in her effort to keep training nights going throughout the pandemic. Lisa went on to say, I've never felt so supported and cared for by my running family at Hailsham Harriers, and it's felt great to support you all in the challenges on your everyday running. Karen Hoskin. She says, COVID has a lot to answer for. However, it has made us stop and reflect and think what is important to us in this world, our family and our friends. And I do so now appreciate every day the simple things. Having the motivation of our Hailsham Harriers running family, thank you all especially. Tinks, Katie and Annette, to name a few, and also the wisdom of Ruffs, and the comic posts of Sarah Woolly-Close. Michelle Hollins. She says, to put it simply, my running best bit during lockdown was joining in with the challenges. I might not be the fastest runner, but the support and team spirit that has been amazing. At the start of lockdown, I'd lost a lot of confidence, but now set myself challenges which I couldn't have done without the Harriers. Dave Mercer. Here are some of my highlights. Relays, what fun, and how strange to have the nerves beforehand when you are running by yourself. Miles. I've done more than usual and felt so much part of the group. It's been great. Photos. I don't normally take many, but have taken more than usual, capturing some of the lovely weather and beauty surrounding me at this strange and surreal time. I would just like to add that Dave currently holds the Strava local legend status for Sandcroft Road. He is a shining example of what can be achieved under difficult circumstances. Andy Ruffle. Lockdown has been hard, but then he says, lockdown has helped. I've been able to focus on getting strong and getting in some more miles. It has helped me focus on me for a bit. I have regained some strength and am now getting ready to go quicker. It has been difficult not seeing everyone, and I've experienced some sadness as well during this time, but I've also been inspired and encouraged by the efforts of my clubmates. Now, I've saved the best until last. If we were giving out an award this year, I think Tinks would surely be the first over the line. She has helped us feel connected with her morale-boosting Facebook posts and keep us up to date with her fine event reports. Tinks has liaised with Evil Eddie for the very first groundbreaking COVID challenge and organised the medal delivery after the event. She also was a frontrunner in terms of mileage for every event and collated daily results. I shall leave it to Tinks to sum up what lockdown has meant to her. She said, COVID has sadly ground the world to a halt. What used to be the norm is sadly now not the norm. Our training nights suspended, our races postponed, our once-in-a-lifetime achievements of running major marathons have been put on hold. Our goals for the year ahead look very different to what we originally expected. For most of us, running is our life glue, the stuff that keeps us from falling apart, the stuff that keeps us bonded together as one. It could have been easy for our motivation, our mojos and commitment to dwindle during this time of uncertainty. So these challenges throughout 2020 have helped us get these feelings back. And she finishes with the hashtag of stronger together. I think the quote from Tinks sums up what has been such a difficult year, but going forward, I'm sure we'll be stronger together. You coming for a run, Harry? I think we'll go for a run. Off we go.